Hello and welcome to Everyday Tarot, your daily dive into the divine wisdom of the tarot. I'm your host, Camille A. Saunders, healer, tarot reader, and professional witch, and today I'm talking about the Samhain Ritual Spread. Whether you're a seasoned tarot reader or just starting to explore, this podcast offers daily insights, intuitive messages, and practical advice drawn from the cards. Each episode is designed to help you connect with your inner wisdom, find clarity in your decisions, and tap into the energy of the universe. Tune in every day, Monday through Friday, for fresh perspectives and empowering guidance from the tarot as interpreted by me. If you love the show, the best way to support it for free is by listening daily, leaving a review, and subscribing or following in your favorite podcast app. If you love the podcast and want to support it further, you can check out some of my other offers. You could join the Everyday Tarot Patreon family, where you can get an individual card pulled for you once a month live on the podcast. You can check out my new moon collective tarot readings. I just did one for the new moon we welcomed in on October 21st, 2025. And so if you missed the live reading there, you can check out the replay. For the Queer Joy Summit, I created a Queer Coven Spooky Tarot Spread, and I wanted to give you all a chance to grab it, even if you weren't a part of the summit. So it's Halloween, Samhain, queer-themed 6-card spread, so you can grab that in the show notes. I was recently on Kayla Moore's Connected Pleasure podcast, which I've been enjoying listening to the podcast and know Kayla as a colleague. But you can check out my episode of Kayla's podcast, where we talked all about living by the body, dreaming of land, and weaving the future. I'll also have the link to Kayla's offer page in the show notes if you want to connect with them through Connected Pleasure Coaching. I am looking for more guests on my podcast, so that's a great way to support as well. If you're interested or know someone that might be a good fit, you can fill out my form to be a guest on the podcast. If you know someone that might be a good fit or that you would love to hear on the podcast, you can always send me an email at me@CamilleASaunders.com with their contact info or, whatever it is about them that you want to share, and I can reach out as well. If that feels easier. And you don't need to have, you could be tarot curious. I had Chantel Davis-Gray on the podcast earlier this week, who actually helps folks create decks of all kinds, but isn't actually that familiar with tarot themselves. So we talked a lot about that and their experience, what drew them to helping people create decks when I think they like Oracle and affirmation decks and other things, but find tarot, I'd say, a bit intimidating, which it definitely can be. So if you're like, no way could I be on the podcast, you can. Anyone could. You could even be like, how do I know I believe tarot? Or when I did a live collective reading as part of the Queer Joy Summit, we did a free mystic hangout with me and Emily Holding, another witchy tarot reader person. And someone asked a question of how do I know that I'm not just, reading what I want to hear from tarot cards? And I think questions like that are super helpful and interesting for someone that reads tarot every day, reads tarot for other people, for myself, for the podcast, where to me, it's become very clear that tarot is real, I would say, that has its own energy about it and information. But I think, coming at it from different perspectives is super interesting and helpful. So you are welcome to be on the podcast. You can fill out the form to be a guest and I'll reach out to you. If you want to work with me more directly and maybe you don't live local, I am kicking off my Tarot for Transformation monthly workshops starting in January 2026. I'm going to be deep diving into the first 12 of the major arcana cards once a month with this idea to discover our best selves and create a life worth living through embodying these archetypes. So if you're interested, you can sign up for more information on that. I'll be sending out more info over the next 2 months as we prepare for 2026, which feels wild right now. You can also work with me individually. So I'm a sex and relationships therapist and coach. I work with individuals and relational clients, which means couples, families, polycules, however there are multiple people in the room. I'm trained as a marriage and family therapist, so that is how we get trained in seeing multiple clients. And I see folks virtually all over from my home office. I love to work with queer, polyamorous, and witchy clients. So if you'd like to work with someone that doesn't judge you, is witchy just like you, and helps you learn how to deal with some of the things you might be struggling with, like anxiety, chronic pain or illness, communication issues, self-advocacy, and sex, you can head to my website and book a free consult now to start your journey. You can find that at CamilleASaunders.com. If you are a crafty bitch and you want to learn how to create your own tarot cards with collage, I have a whole workshop on that. I did a live workshop and then recorded it, so you can get the full workshop, which is an hour-long recording. It's got the step-by-step method I used in it, examples of cards I've made so you can get some inspiration. It's got some journaling questions so you can kind of brainstorm, like, what kind of cards do I want to make? What's my theme? All things like that. And then there's a PDF to walk you all through it if all else fails. And no art skills are needed. Don't worry, because this is creating tarot through collage. So we are cutting and pasting in the material world with materials to create your own tarot cards. And I'm really excited to do a lot more of this practice throughout the winter. So maybe also be on the lookout. If you join my newsletter list, you'll get a free 2025 5-card tarot spread I created just for you, my lovely listeners, but you'll also get all the most up-to-date info on upcoming events, presentations, musings, and info and photos of my day-to-day life. And I might do some virtual tarot card crafting, probably like co-crafting times. I won't necessarily lead you through it, but we can all hang out together virtually and do some crafting, especially for me through the winter months where I'm a lot less inclined to perhaps do in-person things, and it's fun to be able to meet with folks online and craft from our homes. What else? If you want to meet with me in person, I have my Let's Talk Tarot meetup group, and our next event will be celebrating the full moon for the full moon women's circles that I've been hosting this fall. We have one more in 2025, so you can join my colleague Izzy and I under the glow of the full moon for an evening of connection, reflection, and ritual. We meet at Thresholds Collective in Tacoma the first Sunday of the month to welcome in the full moon together. So for our final day of the year, our full moon circle will be on December 7th. Tickets for that are already available, and we're so excited to see you there. So you can find the links for any of these offers in the show notes or on my website, CamilleASaunders.com/everydaytarot, in addition to the images of the cards I pull on each episode. All right, welcome to season 17, where I'm talking all about autumn tarot spreads. If you haven't listened to my other seasons yet, you can check those out. And today I'm taking you through a Samhain ritual spread. So I did a Samhain spread last week, I think last Friday on Halloween, more, I was gonna say actual Samhain, but really Samhain traditionally was a 3-day plus time period. So even though we are right now a week out from Halloween, this is still relevant. And again, really it's about this darker part of the year, ancestors, the veil being thin, and different things. So I'm very curious to see what comes through, what has shifted in the last week, and what, if you want to do more of a ritual spread for Samhain, you can do this. So I pulled this spread from emeraldlotusdivination.com, a tarot spread for your Samhain ritual. Let's see. The person that created this says, I will be practicing some spell work and candle magic. They were talking about on Samhain, but I want to incorporate some shadow or healing work into the day and to use it to connect with ancestors and other guides of theirs to help you get the most out of Samhain. They created this spread that you can use during your ritual or any other time you feel called to it. So let's get into it. This is going to be a 5-card spread, and I'm going to go ahead and switch up my tarot deck and grab a different one here that I'm feeling called to. Alrighty, I'm going to be using the Sacerabito Tarot deck by Sasia Burrington. And again, we're getting into this 5-card spread here. So grab your decks, give it a shuffle. I know I used this one over the weekend when we had our November full moon. circle on Sunday on November 2nd, which was very fun. I'm trying to remember if I used this one last week for the Samhain one. So if I did, that would be super interesting to see the same deck with similar sort of themes, but to see if anything different comes out. All right, so I like to shuffle, I like to cut my deck, and then I like to put my cards down. So you're gonna do 1, 2, 3 across the top, and then 4 is on the bottom left, and 5 is on the bottom right. Okay, so prompt number 1 is, this is the card to describe the upcoming darker half of my year. Interesting. I pulled the 5 of Cups in reverse. Let's see here. And again, I'm pulling from the Sasso Orbito Tarot deck by Stasia Burrington. So the 5 of Cups traditionally upright is about loss, sadness, despair, and regret. So reversed, it says, you may be clinging too strongly to the pain. You can look back on past sadness and now you can move on. You will be able to start taking risks again and see that past loss hasn't broken you. If you listened to my spread from yesterday about the Taurus full moon, this theme also came through then of we have to honor the grief, right? We felt it and now we get to move on, right? We have to actually feel it, not just avoid it, but actually like we don't need to keep clinging to it. We can start being a little bit more risky, right? And again, kind of putting ourselves out there a bit more because the past loss hasn't broken us. Okay, well, that feels very clear. Let's go into prompt 2. What do my ancestors want me to know? I pulled the 9 of Pentacles in reverse. Let's see here. So interesting. We're getting all these reversals. So the 9 of Pentacles, it says, be careful of overindulging in quote unquote luxury. Remember that there is balance. Alternately, if you are unused to treating yourself, it may be difficult for you to give up work and take a relaxing break to reward yourself. Okay, you heard it here first. Your ancestors say, right, don't overindulge, right, in things that maybe are called luxurious, but also, if you're unused to treating yourself, right, if maybe people told you that celebrating looks like luxury, looks like have someone paint your nails, looks like get your hair done, looks like go on a trip, and for you, that doesn't really feel like celebrating, like treat yourself, right? Give up some work for the day or the weekend, take a break and actually reward yourself with a thing that you actually like. Like maybe you've been putting off buying a new video game because you're like, I have so many, I should really finish them, but you're really excited about this one for this time of year, right? Like maybe that's the reward for yourself that feels the most resonant. Like it doesn't have to look like rewards like for other people. I've definitely rewarded myself by going to a therapy training that I was very interested in on my birthday. I'm trying to remember if that was this past year. Perhaps. It feels like a long time ago, but my birthday's in February, so it was a long time ago. But yeah, like I have found that for me, right, like doing a training or a course or like learning is a reward to me. And sometimes it's a reward I don't always let myself indulge in. Like buying a new book also feels similarly because I have so many books. Camille, you don't need to buy another book. But for me, that is the reward. Whereas when I tried to just like go and get my nails done or like do things that other people said were celebrating, it didn't feel like celebrating to me. It felt like I was putting on like a costume and like like I'm gonna try out celebrating like this, and it didn't resonate with me. But you kind of have to try those things to figure out what does. Okay, so that's the message I feel like I got from that. Number 3, why this message is important for me to know. Ooh, we got the King of Cups, who looks oh so cozy. Okay, An upright card, finally. Caring, diplomatic, calm, and tolerant. The King of Cups is emotionally mature, a kind father figure. He is giving and supportive. On the card, he's pouring you a hot mug of something delicious. He's interested in hearing everyone's opinions and viewpoints without judgment. He's relaxed and self-controlled. He probably meditates. I see the King of Cups as a charming, world-traveled grandfather, sharp-witted, open-minded, and delightful. So, right, it's saying, right, if you actually celebrate yourself, then you're going to feel cozy. You're going to feel emotionally mature. You're actually going to be able to give others, right, give of yourself more because you feel nourished and chill, and you can see kind of what's going on and be less judgmental about it, right? We can get less activated. We can get less kind of reactive about it. And again, like, right, this is a king card, sort of like full stop, culmination, end of journey kind of thing, right? This is what, maybe this is where we're going, right? We're working on being our calm, diplomatic, caring, and tolerant self, right? Where kind of no matter what happens to us, we can get through it and move on without judging ourselves either. Okay, number 4, how can I protect myself from negative energy? Ooh, I pulled Justice in reverse, and this Justice card is poignant because it literally shows like a dagger about to go into someone's eye, and it's kind of terrifying. So Justice upright, right? The law, state of spirit. It's the scales of justice, balance, lawful and fair, impartiality, associated with Athena. So if we think about how can I protect myself from negative energy, reversed, this says injustice, unfairness, and imbalance, getting too much or too little of what you need. Justice needs righting. Something in the world is out of balance. And there's a quote here that says, "What you allow is what will continue," by Asghar Belby Josland. So how can I protect myself from negative energy, right? Something needs righting in this way, like to put it back upright. Again, right, we think about moving the card into an upright position. So thinking about fairness, right? Maybe actually it's not objectivity that you need, but actually it's sort of doing more of something. And again, it's a little ambiguous as to what this is with this card right now, but it's saying, right, there's something that's out of balance, and you can protect yourself from negative energy by finding what that thing is and righting it. Again, kind of putting it upright again. So hopefully that makes sense to you. I'm going to be thinking about what that could possibly mean for myself. And finally, a shadow aspect of myself that's calling me to explore. Lovely. We got the Strength card. So interesting here, right, that our first 3 cards, we had some reversals, we had minor arcana, and then our protecting and our shadow aspect strong, right, coming through in major arcana cards. So upright, we have Strength, the Lion Tamer. The Strength card signifies firm but gentle dominance. This isn't strength in the literal muscular sense, but strength of mind and character, and the hidden power of vulnerability and compassion. This card often illustrates someone demonstrating control over a lion, often a woman, with kindness, composure, and slow gentleness and softness. The Strength card represents patience, self-control, stability, and discipline. It may suggest a challenging situation that will require a soft but strong approach to resolution. And the quote with this one is, "Your calm mind is the ultimate weapon. So relax," by Bryant McGill. So, right, this is the shadow aspect that is calling to us, right, is to step into a strength figure that actually being firm, boundaried, gentle dominance, right, that like controlling a situation with kindness, composure, and gentleness and patience is actually even stronger, right, than our sort of traditional ideas about dominance, which are very, very authoritarian, which are like, do this or else, right, like, or I will punish you, or this or that, right? This card says actually patience, self-control, stability, discipline, right? That is what the shadow aspect is calling you to explore. That side of yourself that maybe, right, has traditionally rebelled against discipline or routine, or even, in different ways in your life that you've shied away from, right? Maybe being a leader or leading with this gentle dominance, having a firm hand. Sometimes we can, again, only see it as like dominance is authoritative and terrible, and submission is like good or right or what's required of me, or especially if you were raised as a woman in this culture, right? That is what you were told. But actually, strength is being in control of the situation, right? Having your own self-control, stability, and discipline and patience, and continuing from that place. Your calm mind is the ultimate weapon. So relax. All right. Well, that was very interesting. Thanks for joining me today. If you'd like to join me on the journey of using the tarot for transformation, you can click on the link in the show notes to indicate your interest. I will be setting out 12 months of workshops where we'll be deep diving a major arcana card in each workshop to discover what happens when we want to transform our lives through the tarot. Links for the tarot decks I talk about will always be in the show notes and on my website if you'd like to look at them or purchase them. And thanks for joining me today on Everyday Tarot. Just as a reminder, the podcast comes out Monday through Friday. Comes out daily, Monday through Friday for all of 2025. If you want to email me, you can do so at me@CamilleASaunders.com with your thoughts, questions, and more. All right. See you soon. Bye-bye.